Hello MMA fans, this is MMA Daily with your daily news and updates. Here are today's top stories. First off, Cannonier, Nassourdine Imavov make weight in Louisville. Next, Leon Edwards favors Michael Page over Ian Machado Garry at UFC 303. Additionally, Donald Trump breaks silence after Khabib Nurmagomedov's request for help at UFC 302. Next, Dana White goes off the rails on Islam Makhachev's #1 pound-for-pound spot. Lastly, UFC Champion Islam Makachev responds to Arman Tsarukyan's recent comments. The main event for the UFC's long-awaited return to Louisville is official after the headliners made weight Friday. Former middleweight title challenger Cannonier and opponent Nassourdine Imavov stepped on the scale.
What is it, 185?
Official weight 185 pounds for Cannonier. Official weight 185 for Nassourdine Imavov.
Leon Edwards favors Michael Page over Ian Garry at UFC 303. Rising welterweight contenders Garry and Page meet June 29th at UFC 303 from T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. UFC welterweight champion Edwards could see it being a lackluster fight between the two elite strikers, but thinks Michael Venom Page gets the job done. Talking to the media here is what he said. "I feel like it's one of these fights where it's like both guys will play in range and they're like not committing, waiting to kind of punch each other. If I had to put money on it, I'd probably favor Michael Venom Page. It'll be a good fight. I'm interested to see how it plays out." What do you think? Who will win, Ian Garry or Michael Venom Page, and does the winner deserve to fight Leon Edwards? Leave your opinion in the comments below. Khabib Nurmagomedov drew high praise from former US President Donald Trump after meeting at the UFC 302 pay-per-view. Nurmagomedov cornered UFC lightweight champion Islam Makachev to a title win over Dustin Poirier at UFC 302. It was Makhachev's third successful title defense after back-to-back wins over Alexander Volkanovski in 2023. Just minutes after leaving the octagon with Islam, Khabib made sure to meet a cage-side Trump at the Prudential Center in Newark. During the conversation, Khabib could be audibly heard pleading with Trump to end the Israeli-Palestine conflict if he wins the 2024 US presidential election. It didn't take long for Trump to speak out on his brief meeting with Khabib. Here is what he wrote. Khabib Nurmagomedov, who retired after a record of 29-0, never having lost even a single round, is probably the greatest fighter of all time. I met him at the UFC event on Saturday night in New Jersey. A really smart guy. Big things in the future for Khabib. Dana White has harsh words for the MMA media, calling them stupid for ranking Islam Makachev ahead of Jon Jones in the pound-for-pound rankings. Recently, Islam was awarded the top spot in the pound-for-pound rankings, pushing current heavyweight champion Jon Jones down to number 2. Islam secured this position after defeating Dustin by submission last Saturday night at UFC 302, retaining his UFC lightweight champion status. Following this victory, a panel of media members voted Islam into the #1 spot in the pound-for-pound rankings. Dana White is offering up his take on the change in pound-for-pound rankings, and he's not impressed that Jones was moved to number 2. Here is what he said while speaking to the media. "The fact that Jon Jones is number 2 on the pound-for-pound list just goes to show how stupid the media votes on that. It just goes to show you that they have no idea. They know nothing about this sport. Jon Jones has never lost a fight ever. And when you talk about what it really means to be pound-for-pound, Alexander Volkanovski moved up, and it was a very close fight the first time versus Islam. Jon Jones moved up and absolutely decimated the greatest heavyweight that was out there right now. If Cyril Gane doesn't go for that armbar, he beats Francis Ngannou and becomes the heavyweight champion. Jon Jones walked through Gane like it was nothing. Jon Jones is the baddest dude to ever be involved in combat sports." UFC lightweight champion Islam Makachev is increasingly annoyed with Arman Tsarukyan's public taunts. Makachev defeated Dustin Poirier in the UFC 302 main event on Saturday in Newark. He remains the UFC's pound-for-pound king after his latest successful title defense and will likely face Arman later this year. After witnessing Islam's win, Arman downplayed the title holder's accomplishments, questioning Islam's conditioning and toughness. Arman also bashed his own American top-team teammate Dustin Poirier for giving up against Islam inside the octagon. Makhachev, who hinted at a move up to welterweight immediately after UFC 302, seems refocused on facing Arman amidst the latter's verbal barrage. In a recent press scrum in Russia, Islam went off on Arman's post-event remarks on him and Dustin. Here is what he said. "He just wants attention. He wants to attract attention to himself somehow, but it's not working out very well. No one is interested and no one wants to watch him fight. He once had the chance to fight me and I beat him. I won't give him another chance because he doesn't deserve it. TJ Dillashaw thinks Cory Sandhagen could be UFC champion right now. In order to get that opportunity, Sandhagen has to get past Umar Nurmagomedov. Former champion Dillashaw's last octagon win came over Sandhagen when he edged him out in a back-and-forth battle in July 2021. While Dillashaw sees Sandhagen beating UFC bantamweight champion Sean O'Malley, he thinks Nurmagomedov is a more stern test for him. Here is what he said. "It is a tough fight. I think Sandhagen should be champion right now. He'd beat O'Malley all day. I think that's the toughest fight for O'Malley in the weight class. If Sandhagen gets through this Umar fight, he'll be world champion. This is a tough one for him to get through though. I don't like this fight for him. I hope that he gets through it. The guy he's fighting is a dog. He's a good wrestler. He can hold him down. It is very dangerous for both of them because Cory's next up for a title fight if he wins this one. Umar's trying to get to the top and now Sandhagen needs to go back down a couple steps for this fight, so I think it's dangerous for both of them, but that's what makes it a great fight." Jon Anik campaigns for a Sean Strickland title shot after UFC 302. After losing his middleweight title to Dricus du Plessis in January, Strickland rebounded by defeating Paulo Costa in this past Saturday's UFC 302 co-main event. He demanded a title shot after the win. Anik agrees with Strickland. He thinks the former UFC middleweight champion has stepped up for the company on numerous occasions before. Talking to the media here is what he said. "I thought he fought great. I thought he could have waited for a championship opportunity and didn't. I mean, has anyone stepped up for the UFC more than Sean Strickland? The main event against Imavov, the main event against Nurmagomedov, both of those had circumstances in which he was stepping up for the UFC, and those came on the back end of him putting his number 4 ranking on the line against Alex Pereira when no one in the top 10 would have fought him at UFC 276. So if anyone deserves to sit right now for 12 months after essentially dominating Paulo Costa, it's Sean Strickland. In no other sport do you have to win and entertain. Even in a 1-0 baseball game, and I said this on my podcast this week, everybody's giving the pitcher credit. Sean Strickland essentially just pitched a shutout against a very dangerous man in the top 7. I'm not sure what he was supposed to do. I know Eric Nixick came over and apologized to Hunter Campbell and Dana a little bit. I knew it wasn't the fight we expected. I thought it was going to be the fight of the night. But Sean Strickland, his skills never lead the conversation because of his personality, and I think his skills need to lead the conversation, and his next fight should definitely be for the championship. I'm sure Strickland can be a champion again. He has the quality and incredible skills in the octagon. He's interesting, the audience loves him, and he would be a perfect fit for the UFC to have a champion like Sean Strickland again. I am personally a big fan of Strickland, and as I said, he has risked his career many times for the UFC. He has saved the UFC numerous times by stepping in on short notice. Now it's time for the UFC to repay him and give him another shot at the UFC title, and it's not like Strickland hasn't earned it in the octagon. Thank you for tuning in to MMA Daily. We hope you enjoyed today's coverage of the world of mixed martial arts. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to get notifications for our latest videos. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below and let us know what you'd like to hear about in our upcoming videos. See you tomorrow with more MMA news. Until then, stay safe and keep following MMA Daily for your daily dose of fighting excitement.